there's interest from the Eagles, or at least a dialogue with the Eagles and with Arizona potentially on bringing Kyler Murray to Philadelphia. Your take?
It's a joke. I mean, it got to be a joke to me. Why do it? Is Kyler Murray a top 10 quarterback? He's not in my eyes. I think you're just getting a guy who hasn't thrown for 4,000 passing yards yet. He's had way better weapons than any quarterback we've had in the last 10 years, and he was actually mediocre. You know, they started off really hot, then when the pieces went away, Kyler Murray was just a guy, you know what I mean, that can scramble outside of a pocket. He was atrocious in his playoff debut, just like Jalen Hurts was.
Welcome back. National Football Show with your boy Big Sills. Boy, that got around fast, didn't it, that the Eagles have interest in Kyler Murray. NJ.com, along with Pro Football Talk, which is owned by Mike Florio, is also saying the same thing. We heard reports also as early as last night that there was a dialogue. Listen, I'm not here suggesting in any way that there's a contract on the table to try to move Kyler Murray to Philadelphia. I'm just saying that there's dialogue. And I have to tell you, I don't think there's just one team. There'll probably be multiple teams. Saints, Carolina, teams like that. Kyler Murray has played really well the last 2 years under the direction of Cliff Kingsbury. He's really done well. Kimes put the pieces around him, too. Now, I'll tell you what, one thing that we've done. I love Philly 500. And now we have another man who dominates Philadelphia too, and it is Lord Brunson, and he joins us now. LB, welcome to the program, man. I appreciate you stepping in with us.
What up, Dan? It's an honor, man. It's an honor. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Okay, your take right out of the gate. NJ.com and Pro Football Talk is also saying that there's interest from the Eagles, or at least a dialogue with the Eagles and with Arizona potentially on bringing Kyler Murray to Philadelphia. Your take?
It's a joke. I mean, it got to be a joke to me. Why do it? Is Kyler Murray a top 10 quarterback? He's not in my eyes. I think you're just getting a guy who hasn't thrown for 4,000 passing yards yet. He's had way better weapons than any quarterback we've had in the last 10 years, and he was actually mediocre. You know, they started off really hot, then when the pieces went away, Kyler Murray was just a guy, you know what I mean, that can scramble outside of a pocket. He was atrocious in his playoff debut, just like Jalen Hurts was. So what are you really getting? What are you getting? The occasional pretty deep ball? I'm not with that. That doesn't excite me. If it's not going to be a guy like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, what's the point? Kyler Murray still needs to develop. That's the bottom line for me.
How about this too? And the price tag is going to be $212.
Oh, come on. You see what I'm saying? It's not doable. It's doable, but then you handicap any chance you might have had to build this roster via free agency moving forward. You got to hit in the draft if you're paying a guy that much money.
Yeah, and to your point here, the reason that they were able to get DeAndre Hopkins and add components like Zach Ertz's contract to that deal is because Murray's working on a rookie contract. You bring him to Philadelphia, there's $212. Look at what they already had to do, LB. In Green Bay, they got to get rid of Devontae Adams because you're paying a dude $50 million. And we see that always unravel a roster, don't we? When you start paying the quarterback, the roster, it starts to unravel. All right, let me slide it over to Jalen then for you. Are you a believer in Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I believe the upside is tremendous. Now, we can't live in a fantasy world and not say he doesn't need to develop. Jalen Hurts has to get his arm to the next level, or it's probably going to be bye-bye for him. That's just the way of the NFL in today's game. We don't really believe in developing quarterbacks, but the upside is there. If he can get what Jimmy Garoppolo has in the arm, you got a Pro Bowler. You got a consistent pro. If he can get what Jimmy Garoppolo has, you got the best quarterback in the division as far as arm goes, along with the athleticism. So yeah, I believe in him in short. Yeah.
How about this though, LB? When they're not doing anything to help him. Listen, with Carson Wentz, look what they did. They went out and got Alshon Jeffries and brought a big money guy in for him. Why aren't they doing the same here? Now, look, I know there's $35 million in dead cap money. believe me, and I just mentioned Jeffrey, some of that is his contract that's still on the cap for the Eagles. But why haven't they done anything? You've got two guys that are making less than $1 million base because they're on rookie contracts in Quez Watkins and with Devontae Smith. And on the other hand, you bring in Zach Pascal. That's not going to add to the development of Jalen Hurts. Are they doing enough to help him get to that next level?
No, they're not doing enough to help him on the offensive side of the ball at all. I think they choose the lesser of the two evils. I think what they did was look at it in its totality. Look at how the football team is built. They looked at it like this. We have holes all over the place. I think they decided to focus on defense, and they think that they can correct the issues or the deficiencies in the draft for the offense in the draft this year. So I think they did some good things to help the team overall, but the answer would be no to anything they did to directly help, Jalen Hurts. Now, you did bring back Kelsey. That makes sense. You did bring back Boston Scott. That makes sense. You did get a wide receiver. We're not going to say they didn't do absolutely nothing. We have the best offensive line in football. They just got to get that primary guy that can play, second fiddle, or that can be a mentor to Devontae Smith. So I don't think they really did enough to help him, no.
Watch this. One more point on Jalen Hurts' style. This is why I say Jalen Hurts doesn't have a high ceiling, because I don't think Lamar Jackson has a high ceiling. I don't think any of these running quarterbacks are going to get contracts like you see Patrick Mahomes getting, a 10-year contract, because LB, the style of play, you're one play away in a sack on getting killed. When you take off running and you're running 150 other times and you're getting banged up like Cam Newton did, look at how Cam is right now. He's a shell of his 2015 self because of the way that style was. And Cam could throw the ball deep. Cam was accurate. I always thought that the NFL officials didn't really know how to legislate him and really how to keep him protected, kind of the same way Shaquille O'Neal was never protected. They just shacked him, and they beat up on him. I just don't know, in short, if that style's conducive to winning a Super Bowl. Do you think that style can win a Super Bowl?
I think it could be done because you don't have many excuses to go. You don't have many examples to go off of, quarterbacks with an athletic running style that have just been knocked out of the game and hurt and just like been paralyzed or career ending. It's not really a lot of examples like that. There's more examples of quarterbacks getting hit in the pocket and getting hurt. You can go off Cam. Cam's been banged up. The latest one I can think of is RG3. Let's look at the great athletic quarterbacks that came in the game. Randall had a good career. He finished it out. You can go back to Warren Moon. He was labeled as a scrambling type of quarterback. Brett Favre was labeled as a scrambling type of quarterback. My guy in San Fran, Steve Young. There you go, right there. Right. McNabb, Vic. You have guys that have lengthy careers with playing this style of football. Russell Wilson, I guess you could add him in there as well. And, I think the arm just has to catch up to the legs. Once they decide I can get this there with my arm instead, I think it comes with age, but I think you can have a great career, and I think you can win a Super Bowl with this style of play.
Do you think Jalen Hurts can have the same type of career Donovan McNabb had?
I think, you know what? Actually, I do. Because Donovan McNabb wasn't an extreme explosive passer to football, never had a 4,000 passing yard season. You know what I mean? They relied on a West Coast offense. They relied on a lot of dink and dunks. I think he can. But Donovan McNabb also had what the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to do right now, a great defense. They're trying to build that defense up. McNabb had Dawkins, Trotter. He had a lot of guys on the other side of the ball that can get the ball back for him and give him as many chances as he needs. We don't have that here.
One thing, though, I will say I think Donovan was a lot more accurate than where Jalen is right now in his career. I mean, to me, Donovan was an accurate quarterback. Now, hey, listen, did he throw grounders? He did. Okay? But one thing about Jalen that Saban saw at Alabama, he's not a very good deep passer. He's not a very good deep thrower. And that's still something I would say that he's got to work on. Let me take you over to Howie Roseman. Are you a believer in Howie Roseman?
I fight with this every day, Dan. I mean, one day I am, one day I'm not. I mean, I guess it depends on the move being made, but I can't fully 100% put my faith in Howie Roseman. No.
Do you know, not counting last year's draft, I looked at Pro Football Focus. LB, the Eagles are the worst drafting team 4 years. It was graded out. I was like this. Holy shit, man. These guys here had won a Super Bowl in 17, but maybe that's part of the problem, right? I mean, you go from winning the Super Bowl in 13 games, 4 years later, you win 4 games. I mean,
yeah,
his drafting, he does a great job with the cap, doesn't he? He does a good job with all that stuff, compiling draft picks.
Yeah.
But building the team is maybe where the issue is.
I think that is where the issue is for him. I think he needs to bring in a specialist to help him in that area. I think the Philadelphia Eagles get a bunch of guys that don't fit the scheme. Now, this year, I think they're getting guys that kind of fit the scheme. Now he has new coaches in. Things are a little fresher. I need a guy to do this. I need a guy to do that. They're going after those type of guys, which is why you saw the massive signing of Hassan Reddick. He fits exactly what we were trying to do last year. So, it just made sense. But Howie Roseman is a guy, in my opinion, that will always try to, kind of think outside the box in the wrong situation. Like Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson. I'm sorry, Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson. Come on, we all know what should have happened there. I just think he overthought that, and I fear for this draft. I'm terrified, man. I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
You know what? Here, when they hired me here last year, I'm going to throw this at you here. They asked me if my first question was, what do you make of the Devontae Smith pick? I go, it's horrible. And they go, why? Because they have a quarterback who's on training wheels. They'll never get him the ball. And it was last year when you look at what Jalen Waddle did in Miami, 104 catches. He had Jacoby Brissett throwing him the ball. I mean, he had Tua, who was in and out of the lineup. And I just fear with the style of play that they have and the quarterback still trying to develop with not a lot of great pieces around him right now, do you think we're ever really going to see the true maximum potential of Devontae Smith in a style of offense the Eagles run? And LB, I'll throw this at you. Barrett Brooks said this to me. I could have bought him with a wooden nickel a couple days ago. He was stunned when I told him that the Eagles have never had a 100-catch season wide receiver at any time in the history of the franchise. And I'm not talking tight ends. I'm talking wide receivers. And he was floored by that. Do we ever see what Devontae Smith could really be in this style of play with the Eagles?
That's such a tough question for me to answer with a yes or no, because although we know Devontae Smith could have had more, he did break the rookie receiving yard record. So some things were accomplished. We know he could have had more. We know what he's capable of. So it really depends on Jalen Hurts. It depends on Jalen Hurts. If Devontae Smith is subpar or mediocre while Jalen Hurts is his quarterback, it's a direct issue with Jalen Hurts because this is the prototypical wide receiver. He can do everything, and I feel like it depends on Jalen Hurts. If Devontae Smith, we're going to see what we can get out of him.
I know that you're a little nervous of the draft with Howie having his hands on all the chips here, but positions that you think have to be addressed non-quarterback as they get ready for the draft. Now they have 15 and 18. They split up that pick, sending it to the Saints. They get another first next year, a couple more twos. I mean, anytime you can add a first round and a second and a third rounder to your war chest for the next 2 years, you've really done a nice job here with this. But just give us some of the positions you think this team needs to address immediately.
Wide receiver and edge. Wide receiver because Jalen Reagor averages
in that
17
order?
yards a game.
In that order?
It depends on who's on the board. Now, if Jamison Williams is there from Alabama, I kind of think about it at 18. But if Devontae Wyatt is there, I kind of think about that at 15. So it kind of depends on who's there. But wide receiver and edge rusher for sure. Wide receiver has been abysmal. We'll be the only team. We'll be one of 2 teams in NFL history to take 3 wide receivers in consecutive years in the first round. Just us and the Lions. And look at the Lions. I like to call them the New York Lions. I mean, you can't tell them apart. The Giants or the Lions. Edge rusher, is self-explanatory. We were second to last in sacks. That's not our identity. We got to start getting to the quarterback. Since the year 2000, the Philadelphia Eagles have the second most sacks in NFL, only behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now we're second to last. So you got to correct those 2 deficiencies. But wide receiver, by God. I always say you're only as good as your third best wide receiver. Look at all the teams in the NFL, Dan. The Cowboys got 3 good wide receivers. The Rams.
Look at the Bengals.
List just goes on. The Bengals, the Bills. Everybody has 3 good wide receivers who can go off for a crazy 150-yard game. We don't have that. So it got to be wide receiver and edge.
How about this too, LB, man? I think if you just stay in the state of Georgia and you draft one of them Georgia dudes on defense, I don't think you're going to go wrong there with those two dudes or three dudes. I even wrote down a couple guys here, man. I mean, they got like three guys that the Eagles could take a look at. What do you make of Nick Sirianni?
Nick Sirianni, in a nutshell, is a guy who's learning really fast. So you got to be excited about that. I'm excited about Nick Sirianni. Probably more excited than a lot of people because it didn't start off good. But I haven't seen a lot of coaches change their entire identity as a rookie midway through a season and correct it and get your team to the playoffs. I've never seen that before. So he learns. He's not that stubborn. Some guys will die with their game plan because it worked since Pee Wee football. But yeah, this guy's a guy that he's paying attention. He wants to get it right. So I like him.
The only other team, that's a great point. The only other coach I've ever seen just completely change an identity in the mid part of a year was the year that the Broncos had some dude quarterbacking. Then they put Tebow in, and they went to this RPO offense that he ran, and they ripped off like 7 wins. They beat Roethlisberger in the postseason. It's a great point. I've never really seen.
Dan, was that due to injury?
I think the quarterback. I think they benched the kid. I forget who the guy was in Denver before Tebow. I thought they benched him going into a bye, and they came out with Tebow, and they won 7 in a row or something like that. They went on some psychotic streak. Then they replaced him with Peyton Manning, though. Jonathan Gannon, your take on him?
Jonathan Gannon, I wasn't impressed at all last year. I mean, you gave up 80% completion percentage to like 5 different quarterbacks. It was Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Dak twice probably. Who else? Carr. You know what I mean? Herbert. You just was giving it up. Yeah, guys playing off coverage against elite passing quarterbacks. I didn't think that was smart at all. But he's also a guy that's learning. So I got to kind of take the good with the bad with him. We're getting guys that fit his system. So I'm on a wait and see with him. I called for his job a couple of times last year, but I'm on a wait and see with him.
You and Seth Joyner, man. Seth hates the guy. He's like playing them soft ass zones and such, this and that.
Right.
Man.
Seth a defensive guy, so I expect
Jonathan Gannon hates him, LB. Hey, here, I'll ask you this, man. 2 last questions here. You think Dak Prescott, and this is going to go into Jalen here in a minute. You think Dak Prescott in 2 years gets another contract in Dallas?
No. The money's going to be everybody's going.
You ain't paying him $50 million, right?
Nah. In 2 years, people are going to be making $250,000 a year, man. They ain't giving that to Dak. If Dak don't win more,
Jalen gets a second contract?
Yes, I'm gonna tell you why, Dan. He's gonna get a second contract somewhere. It might not be with us. He's not gonna. It might not be with us though, Dan. So
holy shit, a Philly guy is giving me an off ramp.
It might not be with us, but somebody's gonna pay him to play somewhere else.
No, I agree, but I don't. Yeah. I don't see Howie Roseman putting $45 million a year in that guy's pocket.
But I say it could be with us because it won't be that much. He won't even take that much.
No. Wait, let me see. Okay, so right now, the franchise tag is $29.7. That's kind of like the floor right now. So in 2 years, could that thing get to $37 million? It would be around $37 million, probably. Yeah. I would think somewhere between 37 and 40.
But you know what?
There's no way that guy gives him $40 million.
But with inflation, that's going to be regular. That's the regular price.
I know, man. Maybe I'm just old man. Get off my lawn stuff, man. All right. I asked Philly 500 this question, man. So what's a typical Sunday like for you watching your Birds play, man? I mean, look, dude. Here, let me get my hat here, man. My boy Jerome used to say, you guys are psychotic, man. The way you watch your Eagles, man. So what's a Sunday like with you?
Dude, I got a whole section of this house that's only for that. I got a whole section that's only for that. I don't live stream. See, I can't call the game like Philly 500 because I'll probably get in trouble with YouTube. It's a lot of I'm going crazy, man. In short, I'm going crazy. The grill is going. I got me a nice little bottle or something that I'm drinking. I'm just going crazy, man. And I need silence. I might be holding the baby. My kid's walking now, so I got to hold them. So I'm really going crazy.
Oh, good. So, see, to me, in my house, I'm either drinking Coronas. I got a 40. I'm not like Barrett. Barrett's got like Crown Royal, man. He's more of an aristocratic brother. You know what I'm saying? Crown Royal. Me and you are down there with the Thunderbird and drinking.
Right. Right. I definitely got my Corona or something, man. And I'm just vibing out, zoning out, ready to talk about it and upload it on my next video. But I can't live stream. I got to be present, man. I got to just be I got to be a fan when it's on.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's been awesome having you on. We're going to do this again, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Man. You got my number now.
The whole thing. Well, we're going to keep it going, man. Way to go, brother. And I appreciate you being part of this thing. Thank you so much for coming aboard.
No problem, man. I'll stay tuned, brother.
You got it, man. That's LB. Lloyd Brunson. Love it, man. All right, guys, do me a favor. We are so proud to have Morgan & Morgan now part of the Dan Sileo Show. And get this, at Morgan & Morgan, the fee is free. That means this. They don't get paid unless you do. That's been a common theme at Morgan & Morgan. Now, look, if you're either injured or hurt on the job, the number one thing that is going to be the most important thing is finding that attorney. John Morgan has been telling me that for 25 years, is that attorney is going to get you the compensation that you need. For the people, it's not a slogan. It's who they are and what they do, fighting for people for all these years. That's what Morgan & Morgan is. With over 800 attorneys in offices in Philly, Florida, New York, across the country, Morgan & Morgan's army of lawyers are fighting for you to get the compensation that you deserve. Look, the call is free. The consultation is free. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. What are you waiting for? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 800-512-1600, Morgan & Morgan. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.